Who's ready to lose weight like crazy? Not me, that's for sure. Because I've been working hard to keep on all the muscle that I put on. For you guys, if you didn't know, I spent most of 2021 trying to bulk up with some muscle, and then I spent the first half of 2022 recovering from surgery, and then I spent the past week recovering from the cocoa virus. So I've just got to say, no, I am not particularly interested in losing weight like crazy and putting all the progress that I've done away. But you know who is interested in telling me to lose weight like crazy is Calabrese, famous celebrity trainer for Beachbody, the MLM company, the multi-level marketing company, the company that I can't legally say is a pyramid scheme, but we all know it's kind of in that ballpark. Shout out to the viewer who sent me this book to review. I cannot believe that one of the head Beachbody trainers has a book out. I read the book, guys. We're gonna go through it right now and review it. Oh my god, it feels good to be back to reviewing MLM training materials. We're gonna review a Monate guide on Friday. Get ready. This is gonna be some fun shit. All right, Autumn, let's do it.
Hit you some nuts.
There was lots of memes.
Makes me wonder if I should take up lesbianism.
Chicago. You guys asked for it.
What's up, my fellow small business supporters? I'm Savvy. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome for the first time. I'm Savvy. This is Savvy Writes Books. This is a channel where we talk about books and business. That includes reviews of books, particularly bad business and self-help books and personal development books and that kind of thing, and also critiques of the multi-level marketing industry, because this channel is all about supporting small businesses, supporting authors, supporting creative realms and things like that, pro-creativity, pro-small business, anti-multi-level marketing, anti-exploitation, all of that. And often that leads to videos like this, which are my favorite kind to do, where I get to review multi-level marketing related books, which are just like such a specific subgenre, and that's why people send them to me, and I love it. I love it, guys. Before we get into the topic, today's video is not sponsored, and because it is not sponsored, I'm going to take a minute to sponsor it myself, by which I mean I'm going to give you guys an update on what's going on in my own business. If you're new here, you may not know, I run a small business called Forever Home Friends. It's a series of books and plushies based on real rescue dogs and their stories of getting adopted, or at least that's what it was, until recently, where now it is a series of rescue dogs and cats. That's right, our first cat character, Max the Vampire Kitty, is now available for pre-order. His book and plushie collection will be releasing on September 23rd this year, so it'll be in time for you guys to get it for Halloween, but it is now available for pre-order. So if you go to foreverhomefriends.com, linked in the description below, you can pre-order Max the Vampire Kitty, the book and plushie collection there. In addition, Chewy plushies have just been restocked. You guys know Smile Chewy and Chewy's whole collection. Chewy's plushie sold out, and we were completely out of all plushies at the end of 2021 around Christmas time, and now plushies have literally just been restocked. Like, I just received a shipment today. My entire house is just full of boxes. That's what happens when you get a new shipment of plushies in. But anyway, Chewy is restocked. And speaking of Chewy, one more fun announcement. Guess what, guys? Chewy decided to write his own business guru self-help book. Yes, he did. It is called Bro, Stop Licking Your Balls. If you remember, about a year ago, I did a video called My Dog Writes a Better Self-Help Book Than Dave Hollis, and I kind of based it on that video that Rachel Oates did about how it was like, my dog writes better poetry than Gabby Hanna. I did the thing like that. I did the same kind of thing where I put cards on the floor and put little snacks on them, and Chewy booped them with his snoot, and that was the card that went in the book then. We did that. So Bro, Stop Licking Your Balls, which is a parody of Girl Wash Your Face, Dave Hollis's books, Grant Cardone's books, 10X Rule. It's a parody of all of those books, and that is now available to pre-order for Kindle, and it will be available to pre-order in paperback soon as well. For those of you who have asked about it being on Patreon, it's been on Patreon for a year. I posted it to Patreon like last June, so it's already up on Patreon for people there. And it is also, if you are not on my Patreon, it is available to pre-order the ebook, and the paperback version will be available to pre-order soon. I'm just waiting to get the proof of that. And speaking of Patreon, thank you so much to all my Patreon supporters who continue to make this channel amazing. Patreon supporters' names are up on the screen. Patreon supporters who give $5 a month and up are linked in the description below. Let's talk about Lose Weight Like Crazy by Calabrese of Beachbody fame. On this channel, I've done a couple videos about Beachbody before. One of those I'm going to be kind of referencing throughout this video, where when I review specific pieces of this book, which is a video that I did interviewing a former Beachbody infomercial participant. I put this video up like 2 years ago now, but I interviewed a woman who had participated in Beachbody's infomercial, you know, the before and after, here, do this 90-day challenge to lose weight. And she kind of gave the entire process of what that was like and how awful it was, how they restricted everyone's eating to 800 calories a day while also making them do multiple workouts, how she could barely, like, she ended up not even making the final cut of the infomercial because she was so exhausted that she could barely get coherent words out because of how food deprived she basically was. She talked about how multiple women who were involved in this challenge stopped getting their period because they didn't have enough nutrition for their body to keep functioning properly, which is absolutely wild. So I'm going to be reviewing this with that as some context in my mind. And if you guys need any background information on Beachbody, I've done a few videos on it before. A lot of my friends have done videos on it as well in the anti-MLM community. But basically, it's a multi-level marketing company. They have a product called Shakeology, which are these like protein shakes that they sell and tell you, you can replace a meal with this shake. And the shakes are wildly overpriced. They encourage the pyramid scheme type structure, right? Where you recruit people under you, you make a cut of their commission, they recruit people under them. You want to keep recruiting more and more people. You have to sign up and get stuff on auto ship, so you end up losing a lot more money than you end up making. I actually looked at Beachbody's numbers and their income disclosure statement and proved how nobody's making money in this when I did my video reacting to Rachel Hollis's Beachbody speech, which I put up in like 2019. So anyway, there's a ton of research out there about how Beachbody is on the scam spectrum. So I'm not sure I would ever support a company like Beachbody, and we're going to get into all of that. But without further ado, let's just open up this book. Let's crack it open and see what it's all about. This book came out in 2020, which of course means that Autumn needed to use COVID. She needed to exploit COVID as a way to try to get people to want to lose weight and potentially sign up for Beachbody. So she starts in here, she does this little preface where people have lost their jobs, their loved ones, lost their positive outlook on life. We are being forced to figure out how to work from home, how to be teachers to our kids while working from home, how to take care of our elders without endangering them. The principles I'm teaching in this book are more important than ever. Losing weight like crazy amidst a crazy life isn't about six-pack abs or bulging biceps. I don't know, for me it kind of is. It's about taking back control of your health. I don't know how long this crisis will go on. Oh, that's funny. This book came out 2 years ago. Don't know how long it'll go on. Yeah, none of us do. But she says, now more than ever, it is imperative to take care of our health, to exercise regularly, and fuel our bodies properly. I agree. It's important to be healthy. Lose weight like crazy isn't necessarily the health advice you think it is, Autumn, which we're going to get into. Now, quick as I get into the advice and all of that in this book, I'm not a health expert. I'm an author and business owner and book reviewer who likes to work out. That's what I am. I am not a health expert. I am not a personal trainer. I work with a personal trainer. I am not a dietitian, but I do work with a dietitian. I work with professionals as I go through this whole health and fitness journey of my own. But one thing I do know to be true is that body weight alone is actually kind of a shit measurement for how healthy you are. Now, someone's going to come in the comments and be like, Savvy, are you being a cringe radical feminist again? Are you doing that thing are you going to claim to me that this lady on my 600-pound life was perfectly healthy the way she is? No one ever said that. And this is actually something that my dietitian has told me as well, which is that when you are measuring your overall health, weight is one data point. It is one data point amidst a ton of data points. So if you are 1,000 pounds, you're probably going to have some health problems, right? No shit. But let's say that according to the BMI scale, you are technically 10 pounds overweight. But that scale isn't taking really into account, your particular body structure, your particular body fat percentage, your particular muscle percentage. It's not taking into account other factors about your health. Maybe you are not actually overweight. You're just considered overweight in comparison to the population. Because this is the thing as well. The BMI or body mass index chart, which measures height to weight ratios, was never intended to be used to assess individuals' level of health. It was intended to observe general population trends over time. And if you're interested in learning more about that, my friend Bad Astra on YouTube actually did a fantastic video about how a lot of the weight loss and like weight as health metrics that we use are actually very flawed. flawed and have a history of not being used for what they actually measure and things like that, because it's like more convenient to use those things. So I'll link her video below. You should definitely check it out. It's really awesome. And also the dietitian that I see that I've told you guys about is Kat Benson, who also has a YouTube channel where she criticizes Beachbody and other companies like that for the fact that they're not actually promoting real health. So I'll link her channel below as well. You definitely want to check her out because she gives me all this dietitian advice, which is great. But for example, this is a thing I've pointed out when I've put pictures of myself up. Weight is one measurement, but it is not the only measurement, right? So if you put up a picture of me from mid-2020 and a picture of me now, I weigh more now than I weighed in mid-2020. I weighed 150-ish pounds then, and I weigh about 160 pounds now. However, I am thinner now. My waist is smaller, my face is thinner, and my shoulders are way bigger, my biceps are way bigger. I've been lifting weights for the past year, right? So that is an example of how weight itself doesn't tell you much about someone's overall health. It tells you one thing about their health. Weight is a measurement of how much force you are exerting. It can tell you something about if you're losing fat, it can tell you something about if you're gaining muscle, but you have to take other measurements into account as well to know that. And again, just as a disclaimer, this is not to say that weight loss isn't the solution for some. If weight loss is something that's helped you in your life, that's great. If you are someone whose doctor says weight loss is going to be helpful for you, or if your doctor says weight gain is going to be helpful for you, I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying that overall that is not the one and only metric to use. Now let's continue. So the concept of this book is to lose weight like crazy. So of course, crazy is an acronym. What does it mean to lose weight like crazy? Well, we got to look at what crazy stands for. Crazy. C stands for control your portions. R stands for reduce added sugars and highly processed foods. A stands for add proteins, carbs, and fats in balanced proportions. Z stands for zero excuses, zero deprivation, zero eating your emotions. And Y stands for why. Find your why. This is the thing everyone always says in MLMs, right? Find your why. I also hate the Z for zero. That seems incredibly extreme. The zero excuses thing I don't like because we're going to get into that. We're going to get into some examples. Zero deprivation is something she says, like, this isn't going to deprive you of foods. This isn't a restrictive diet where you have to deprive yourself of your cravings. But later we're going to find out it actually is. She's just lying. So I definitely think that's too extreme. She tries to make it very clear at the beginning of this book that her method is not a diet, that her method is a lifestyle. It's not a diet. And I'm guessing that's because in the past we've heard a lot of things with people saying diets don't work, lifestyle changes work, which is true, but that has led to people trying to sell their diet program as a lifestyle change. What she is advocating for here, which we're going to go into the specifics of, is absolutely still a diet. But she basically says, diets of deprivation suck, and they don't work. They put you down the moment you stumble over some unrealistic requirement, which I agree. I completely agree with that. However, what she's gonna advertise to us and tell us to do is basically going to be an unrealistic diet, in my opinion. She starts off talking about her method, and she says, if you came looking for a diet, sorry to disappoint. My program can get you crazy results crazy fast, but it's not a diet. It's a lifestyle designed to be able to follow forever, no matter the occasion or how crazy life gets. Again, it's not a diet in all caps. Frankly, I can't stand the freaking word. Okay, so actually, yes, this is absolutely a diet. Here's what Autumn's program is that we'll get into the specifics of in this book. Her program is that you have different color containers. You get like different color Tupperware. That's a joke because Tupperware is an MLM too. Most people don't know Tupperware is an MLM. A lot of your plastic storage containers are probably Rubbermaid or Ziploc. If they're actual Tupperware brand, that's an MLM. Isn't that funny? Remember 80s Tupperware parties? I don't. I wasn't born yet. I'm not that old. But they're basically Tupperware type containers that she sells that are in different colors. So it's like the red containers have proteins, the orange containers have something else, the yellow ones have carbs, the green ones have vegetables, whatever. So she sells different size containers, and then you're supposed to figure out which of the diet plans, based on your body weight and your goals, which of the diet plans you want to do. And each of the plans is going to be like, okay, for your diet plan, you can have like 3 of the red containers a day and 2 of the green containers a day and 2 of the orange containers a day. And it's like a set number of how many of each container you can have a day. So it's literally a diet. Like by definition what she's telling us is a diet. She's saying it's not a diet because you don't cut out a food group, because you don't have to restrict anything. First of all, you do have to restrict things, because let's say you eat all the food that you're allotted and you're still hungry, then yeah, you still have to restrict yourself. And also, if you want to eat more of a certain food group than is allowed within those realms, and you're restricting that, just because you're not cutting out an entire food group doesn't mean it's not a diet. It's absolutely a diet. She's just trying to sell it weird to us. Then on this page, she starts promoting Beachbody. She's talking about, like, the plan in this book is a 30-day jumpstart to a healthier life. Later, you can always advance to my ultimate portion fix program and join my workouts on Beachbody on demand to do more. Part of her selling this as a lifestyle change rather than a diet involves the fact that she's saying, you know, this isn't meant to be a quick fix. You should do this forever. Once you start my portion control system, you do it in what universe is it sustainable for me to have like a million different little Tupperware containers that I have to wash in the dishwasher, and that I have to plan out all of my meals weeks in or at least a week in advance so that I know exactly what I'm going to portion out for everything. And that's supposed to be sustainable for the rest of my life? Absolutely not. I'm not going to try this method because I don't want to. I'm looking at it and I'm like, no, I don't want to. And we're going to talk about that. Now, over here, she talks about the meals we eat and the details. And under the drink options for what we're allowed to drink, remember guys, it's not restrictive, but you're not allowed to drink any soda pop. You're not allowed to have any soda pop at all. But it's not restrictive. It's not restrictive. It doesn't cut anything out except soda pop. You're not allowed to have it. Because her logic, where she doesn't let you have like Oreos or soda pop, she says, those things aren't food. So you shouldn't eat them because they're not food. Like, you wouldn't eat a piece of paper. Like, it's not food. So you don't eat it. That's basically what she says. And I'm like, no, I want my Dr. Pepper, please. Thank you. Anyway, one of the drinks we are allowed, though, is Beachbody Shakeology. She says we can have Shakeology, Beachbody's nutrient-dense superfood protein shakes. We can have one of those every single day if we want, but we're never allowed to have soda pop again. It's not restricted. Autumn spends the first half of this book, the first half is kind of like her memoir. She starts by telling her life story of, you know, body image issues that she's had in the past, about her journey of how she wanted to be a professional dancer. And honestly, it was interesting to learn about her backstory. And I think, there were some legitimate challenges that she faced. So for example, Autumn's basic backstory is she wanted to be a professional dancer her entire life. When she was a kid, she couldn't start off in dance classes because she had very bad hip pain and she was going through some bodily issues, and later learned that she had scoliosis, which, like, relatable. I have scoliosis. You guys know all about the health problems I've faced from having scoliosis. So she struggled with that. Eventually, she did get into dance classes when she was, like, in middle school, danced constantly through high school and everything. In college, entered as a dance major. And then towards the end of college, ended up having some kind of disc issue in her back, which, again, I get it. I've had back problems my whole life. Like, I know how devastating those can be. She basically heard from her doctor that if she continued with her dance career, her back was going to be fucked up for the rest of her life, and that she should either give up her dance career now, or she was going to have to start going through severe back surgeries and things like that. So she ended up giving up her dance career, and it was really difficult for her, but realized from there that she didn't have to give up the passion for fitness that she developed, and was going to go into personal training. She was going to study to be a personal trainer and things like that. I think it's a great story. A lot of the things she talks about in this book, though, sounds like she's really trying to relate to people who have ever had a lot of weight to lose. When Autumn, I looked it up because the weights that she was talking about being, I was like, how short are you, girl? She's 5'2". So I looked it up. She's 5'2". The highest weight she ever mentions having been in her entire life in this book is, I think, 145 pounds. And it's when she was pregnant. It's when she was pregnant, okay? Outside of being pregnant, her weight loss and gain fluctuations that she tries to make sound dramatic are usually like 10 pounds, which is like, girl, that's like me getting bloated from my period and eating too much one day. Like, if my period cramps go down and I take a massive fat ogre shit in my swamp, then I will have lost 10 pounds. So I'm like, this is a real weight loss, Autumn. What are you talking about? But anyway, so she starts talking about some of the issues that she had with the diet industry, which I would normally say that's good commentary to have. However, she's also selling her own diet. So it's like, stop being like, I'm not like other diet influencers. Yes, you are. So she's over here on page 6. talking about there were all those commercials on TV advertising a slimming shake, drink 2 shakes a day and eat 1 meal and you'll lose weight, they said. Okay, I'm going to do that, I thought. I had to save up money to buy the shake. So she's talking about being a kid and how she wanted to drink weight loss shakes because she was worried she was gaining weight and things like that, which, like, again, I can relate. I have dealt with body dysmorphia for most of my life, so I understand. Until I got my breast reduction surgery, I was so heavily body dysmorphic that I even as like a really thin teenager, I would worry about weight loss and things like that. So I totally get it. I just think it's really hypocritical that she's making fun of like how gross the diet industry is for promoting these shakes. And then literally like a few pages before, she said we can drink Beachbody Shakeology as part of this diet program. And she promotes Beachbody, which Beachbody promotes Shakeology as a meal replacement shake. So the idea is that you're supposed to not even eat a meal. Like if you drink the shake, that's one of your meals. Like, girl, you're doing the exact same thing. This is wild. Then she talks about how we can never have soda pop again for the rest of our life. And she says, there are very few things I'll tell you can't have on my program, but soda is one of them. There are 0 health benefits, and even 0 calorie, 0 sugar ones are highly processed. Like, I get it. It's not healthy for you. Having soda pop is not healthy for you. But doing a few unhealthy things in your life sometimes is not that big a deal. And that's my non-professional opinion. I like to have a Dr. Pepper. I like to mix whiskey with my Dr. Pepper, which people tell me is gross, but I think is delicious. She does talk about how, like, if you're addicted to the sugar and the processed stuff in soda, to, like, cut it down gradually. Like, you start off by, like, if you're drinking 30 ounces of soda pop a day, start off with doing a week of 15 ounces a day. And I get it, doing it gradually makes sense. And cutting out soda pop if you drink too much of it is definitely healthy, but like, I'm just never gonna fully cut out soda pop. That's not something I'm interested in doing. I'm also never gonna, like, I drink beer. I love craft beers. I love stouts. I know stouts are just tons of carbs and carbonation. I love my stouts though. I love stouts. I love bourbon. I love Dr. Pepper. Basically, I'm not a very healthy person. Then this book is like filled with these testimonials from Beachbody coaches who are over here to talk about how much weight they lost and how much better their life is after using Autumn's program. And like most of them are Beachbody coaches, right? So, and these are like these are all basically Beachbody ads and they're regularly placed throughout the book, which like this book costs $28. You're going to have me pay for a book, which I didn't pay for it. Someone sent it to me. But this book is going to advertise me Beachbody like every couple pages. That's absolutely insane. So it starts off with this one person's journey who went from 237 pounds to 120 pounds. It took her a year. It took her a year to do that. I'm just like, well, what's her height? Like, you're gonna tell me, like, why are you like, I know that the book is lose weight like crazy, but again, if your goal is, I guess, reducing body fat percentages and overall, better health, the idea of only measuring weight, again, is very reductive. So if the book is going to be like, they went from this many pounds to this many pounds, and I'm like, great. I could drop to 120 pounds pretty quickly too, and I would, again, not be able to lift a fucking 5-pound dumbbell, so that wouldn't be health. And also, it's like, how tall is she, right? Because, like, I have friends who are 5'1" and are 120 pounds, and they're, pretty thin, but it's still a healthy weight for them, whereas, like, I'm 5'6", I've been 120 pounds before, and it's really unhealthy for me. It's like my ribs stick out really far, and I also have, like, because I have scoliosis, as I mentioned, my spine's curved, so it's like, I have 2 spinal curves, and, shortest distance between 2 points is a line, right? So my body is not a straight line up and down. So as a result, my height is not really an accurate measurement of how much vertical space my body actually encompasses, if that makes sense. And then I also have a very broad-shouldered build. So I have broad shoulders, I have wide hips, things like that. So when you take all of that into account, me at 5'6", being 120 pounds is very thin for me. However, there are some people I know who are 5'6" and 120 pounds and it looks fine for them. I know people who are 5'6" and 170 pounds and it looks really thin on them, right? So it varies based on height, it varies based on body proportions in general, it varies based on so many things. So when we're only comparing weight to weight, I just think that's it just doesn't do much. But again, I'm happy for this lit girl that her life is better, but she should just get out of Beachbody. I think her life would be even better. Like, it's not about losing weight, it's about losing a subscription, because this company is going to drain you dry. I saw a joke, this was on Reddit. Beachbody is only going to cause you to lose hundreds of pounds if you're paying in British currency. Then we have another Beachbody ad from Carl Deichler, who's the founder of the company. He's a scam lord supreme. And it doesn't even give us his weights. It gives us everyone else's before and after weights, but it doesn't for him. Instead, it's like he built up more muscle. So maybe his weight stayed the same, or you know what, he maybe even gained weight between these two pictures and it didn't fit the narrative or something. So they don't say, they just say, here's day 1, day 21, just more muscle. I'm guessing he probably gained weight, which is a good thing in this case because he was trying to put on muscle. However, it wouldn't fit the lose weight narrative, so they couldn't print it in the book. That's my guess, because he's the only one they don't do that for. Carl Deichler is co-founder of Beachbody, the man who first hired me, Autumn Calabrese, to create 21 Day Fix. You'd think fitness junkie would be in his job description as a leader of a big fitness lifestyle company, but not so. Carl doesn't particularly enjoy exercise, and his diet is about as nutritious as a 5-year-old's, but that's what makes him ideal as Beachbody's chief. He is just like his customers, the millions of real people out there who want to get fitter. And I'm like, maybe it's because MLMs have never been about the product at all. So like, it doesn't matter if Carl Deichler is a fitness junkie or eats well, because the company's not actually about getting in shape. It's about recruiting more people into the pyramid. So as long as he's good at scamming people, that's all that matters. It's kind of the same thing with like, why are so many men who don't wear makeup the CEOs of makeup MLMs? Because it's not about the product. It's about scamming people. I will say I do appreciate that on page 60, she says, people tell me all the time that they aren't eating fruit because of the sugar. Fruit is not the enemy. So she talks about how there's a lot of benefits to fruit and we shouldn't fear it just because of the sugar. And I appreciate that because I did a video on V-Shred a little while back, and he's a fitness guru bro type who's out here telling us, don't eat sugar. You don't need the sugar in fruit. It's bad for you, which is false. Yes, eat fruit. Fruit is fucking good for you. So I just like, I hate when there's some of these influencers out here who are like, no, don't eat fruit. So I appreciate at least that Autumn's like, yes, eat your fruit. Eat your fruit, yes. However, in the same thing right here, she says, I eat fruit after my workout in between meals as a healthy snack, and I love to add it to my Shakeology to make it even more delicious. Like, girl, stop promoting the Shakeology. Then there's another ad over here of someone else who lost weight with Beachbody. So it's talking about this guy named Ray. He knew he wanted to get back on track health-wise and pursue developing a business as an independent teen Beachbody coach. I want to be able to share knowledge of the program to any future customers. And then, it literally goes into literal advertisement languages. Beachbody on Demand is like having 20+ trainers at my fingertips with over 500 workouts to choose from for the cost of less than 1 hour if I had hired a trainer. Can't beat that. Yes, you actually can beat it. I work with a trainer, and I pay $50 an hour to work with a trainer. Yes, having one-on-one training with someone is ridiculously valuable. Again, let's come back to the fact that I have scoliosis, which Autumn also has. When you're trying to go into powerlifting and you have fucking scoliosis, you've got to be really careful because you can throw your back out. And I have thrown my back out a couple times. I even spent the first 6 months of weightlifting. When I first started weightlifting, I spent the first 6 months not doing any squats, because I was scared of hurting my back, and I was scared that if I messed up anything on the form and I didn't have a professional there to help me, that I would be out of commission for a month, because that has happened before. So I started working with a trainer this past October, and I would tell my trainer, okay, here's my back issues, here's what it's like, here's my limitations, and especially, this year, I've been recovering from surgery the whole year, so I've had to work with someone and say, okay, there are certain workouts I'm not allowed to do. I'm not allowed to lift certain things above my head. Now I'm freed up to do any workouts I want to. I'm at a point in recovery where it's totally fine to do that. But it was like, okay, I can't do these things right now. We need to modify the workout. So having someone there who knows your body's specific needs and your specific limitations and can help you modify workouts so that they're safe and can help you work with the levels that you're at and increase over time so that you're safe, as opposed to a one-size-fits-all approach on just a TV. The difference is insane. And yes, hiring a trainer is expensive. I completely understand that. So it's not going to be something that, especially if you have a lot of other big life expenses right now. I come at it from, I'm kind of in a privileged position in that I don't have kids and probably never will. So I don't have, that's probably the biggest expense most people have, right? So in that sense, I'm able to spend money on these things, but I just hate this idea that this costs less than an hour with a personal trainer. Even an hour with a personal trainer, they could teach you some workouts that'll fit well for your specific body. So I just really hate that narrative. Autumn likes to talk about the weight loss, the weight fluctuation she went through as a kid and a teenager. So she's talking about being a teenager, and she talks about how at one point she when she moved from her dad, like her parents were divorced and her dad was an Italian chef and her mom wasn't, so she always gained weight at her dad's house. Then she moved to her mom's house and she's like, without trying, I lost almost 20 pounds. I went from a size 8, sometimes 10, to a 0 in a matter of months. And I was like, girl, how short are you that a size 10 to 0 is 20 pounds. She's 5'2". That's not that short. Like, it's shorter than me. It's significantly shorter than me, but like, it's not that short. So like, I'm thinking like, I wear a size 8 to 10, depending on the brand. Well, I don't usually buy clothes in those sizes. I usually buy them in like 20, like I wear a size like 28. I wear a size 28 to 30 in pants, because this brands I buy from usually measure them that way. Anyway, that correlates usually to about a size 8 to 10. So I wear a size 8 to 10 in pants right now. And if I were to, I have been a size 0 before. When I was a size 0, I was probably about 50 pounds lighter than I am now. More than that, probably. Yeah, about 50 pounds. I was about 110 pounds when I was a teenager. To be fair, though, I also had no muscle yet. So that's part of it, too. But that even says even more, I think. Yeah, so my point is, like, losing 20 pounds and going down that many sizes, like, okay, I guess, you know what, if that's her experience, it's hard for me to believe, but if she says it's true, whatever. She talks about her weight fluctuations throughout this book, and she talks about, you know, how she was 105 pounds. Like, as a teenager, she was mostly in the, like, 95 to 105 pound range, and then she would get up to 120 pounds. That was way too much for her. She got up to 140 pounds because she was pregnant. These are, like, not very big weight fluctuations. These are very similar weights. So she's down here, like, I got my love of, this is where my love of healthy eating and fitness started. It showed me I didn't have to diet to lose weight. I had to choose healthier options of foods that I loved. I had to watch my portions, and I needed to move my body more than I had been. Simple, crazy simple. And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy simple for you because your weight loss was only ever like 20 pounds maximum, other than when you were pregnant. Other than that, you were losing weight in terms of like 5-10 pound increments. Second of all, you've been skinny your whole life, like significantly skinny. And third of all, if it were really that simple, then why do you have this complicated ass Tupperware color-coded container system where people can only eat it? Like, why, if it really is just about smaller portion sizes, then why don't you just encourage people to work with dietitians to, or even like give a general idea of what certain size portions should be and how to measure those things, and not to measure them for every meal, but just like how to get used to certain amounts and things like that. Why instead do people have to use containers for the rest of their life if it's so easy? So I feel like she's oversimplifying it based on her very easy life experiences. So then she's like, talking about the actual steps of the program. She's like, it's 6 easy steps like crazy, even if you have a crazy life. We're going to go over each one in detail. But she's like, these are so simple, you guys. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a lazy dumbass, but to me, these are not simple. Especially when one of the steps is find your caloric bracket and see how many you need to eat each day. Make a plan for what meals you're going to eat for the week. Grocery shop and meal prep. Track your containers. That's so much shit to do. That is so, to have to track how much of each thing you're eating, to have to go to the, like, if you're going to do it for certain containers and you have to separate the food groups. So, like, let's say you're going to make a meal that's like some soup. Let's say you're going to make a big pot of soup for the week. Before you can make the soup, you have to measure out, okay, this much meat's going in the soup, this much, like, noodle or carbs or whatever's going in the soup, this much vegetables going in the soup. You got to measure it out ahead of time to make sure your ratios are correct based on the container system. And then you got to make it all in advance, so that either that or you have to be pulling out containers all over the day every day and then washing your containers and all of that constantly. And you also have to track how many of each container you're eating each day. So you, like, how is that simple? That's so much extra stress. Maybe it's just me, but that's just too much for me. Finally, on page 104, she talks about celebrating non-scale victories. It took her over 100 pages to get into measuring things in any way other than weight, despite the fact that that is one data point of many. So she says, what's a non-scale victory? It's any metric besides the one shown on your scale that helps you evaluate your progress toward your short-term and long-term goals. And I'm like, okay, if the goal in this book was actually to lose body fat, gain strength, gain overall health, whatever, why weren't we talking about non-scale things from the beginning? Because yes, weight can be one measurement of that, absolutely, but it is not the only measurement. And like I've told you guys, I am significantly thinner and have less fat now than I did 2 years ago. But I also weigh more in pounds. So again, if that's the only metric you're going by, that's really stupid. So she finally gets to it here. And then all of these things she mentions, your clothes are looser or feel better, you have more energy, you sleep better, you get like you're stronger when you're working out, your skin is clearer, your bowel movements are more regular, your body's more flexible, you have fewer aches and pains, you wake up refreshed, things like that. I was like, why weren't we measuring by those things all along? And why weren't those things woven in as things to track your progress by other than just weight? Because, again, I'm not a health expert, but from every health expert I've talked to, I've learned that those things are all very important. All right, so she comes back to the portion fix plan on page 110. She says, what is the portion fix plan? And she starts off, let me remind you what it is not, in all caps. It's not a diet. It literally is, and we're about to go into that. She said, remember, diets suck. They're the antithesis of the Z in crazy, which is for zero deprivation. How many of us have been on a diet before? You can't see me, but I'm raising my hand. A diet, by definition, is a special course of food to which one restricts oneself to lose weight for medical reasons. Like, that is definitely not the only definition of diet. Hold up. Okay, Oxford Dictionary. The kinds of foods that a person, animal, or community habitually eats. So anything you eat is your diet. So technically anything is a diet. The second definition on Oxford Dictionary is the one she said. To restrict oneself to small amounts or special kinds of food to lose weight. Those are the three. Oh, that's the verb form. So, no, any type of food you eat at all could be a diet. And also this does, while it says zero restriction, it does restrict you. She later talks about how she's like, no one wants to be restricted. The restriction will be all you can think about. Tell yourself you aren't ever eating chocolate again. And what's the only thing you can think about? Chocolate. So yeah, this is not a diet. It's like, just because you can still eat chocolate doesn't mean it's not a diet. First of all, you told me I'm never allowed to have soda pop again. All right, let's talk about portion control. This story in the portion control section is wild. So she's talking about one of her clients when she was a trainer. She says, I'd been a trainer at a high-end gym in Los Angeles for several years, and I'd been working with one woman in particular for well over a year. I trained her 4 days a week, and she would also come in at least 2 other days to get a workout in. This woman was a machine. She busted her ass in her workouts, always giving 100%, and yet she would gain and lose the same 5 pounds over and over again. I couldn't figure out what the problem was because I knew how hard she was working. When I asked her what she was eating, all seemed right. Lean protein, veggies, healthy carbs, and fruit. She drank on occasion, but nothing in excess. She was very dedicated. One day, after a crazy hard workout, we went for lunch together. We went to a popular restaurant known for being on the healthier side, and we ordered salads. The salads were enormous. While I ate a fraction of mine, she ate her entire salad. It was in that moment that it hit me. I looked at her across the table and said, that right there is our problem. I looked on the nutrition info on the menu, and sure enough, that salad was well over 1,400 calories. That was almost her entire caloric intake for the day, and it was only noon. Okay, so a couple questions about this story. First of all, if she is busting her ass in her workouts and doing this constantly, why isn't she bulking? Like, if she's like, it's like she just kept gaining and losing the same 5 pounds. Like the salad alone and the portion sizes weren't the problem. Because if you're eating a lot, at least in my experience, again, I'm not an expert, but in my experience, when you're eating a lot and you're working out a lot, you tend to put on a lot of muscle. But I guess that also depends on what you're eating. It depends on a variety of factors. Again, nobody's body is going to do things exactly the same. This story just seemed a little unbelievable to me. Second of all, you're telling me that this woman went in for personal training, which, guys, a personal training session is hard. They work you. It is hard. She went into a personal training session 4 days a week. She spent more than half of her day in one-on-one personal training. And Autumn was saying 1,400 calories. That was almost what she was supposed to have for her whole daily intake. Girl, what? Is this woman 3 feet tall? What? Excuse me? 1,400 calories for the whole day when she's going into intense personal training 4 days a week? Autumn. So I was like, this is sus, dude. How little are you trying to make us eat? Which again made me think of the Beachbody infomercial participant that I had interviewed who basically said, let us eat 800 calories a day. They were very restrictive in how much food we could eat. Everyone was about to pass out. So then I did this exercise to find my caloric bracket. I did all the math, and then I looked at the bottom, and she gave an example and used 160 pounds as the number, which is my weight. So I was like, oh, well, maybe I should have I didn't need to do any of this math. But according to Autumn's plan, the amount that I should be eating a day if I want to maintain my weight is 1760 is my caloric baseline. And then my maintenance calories is 2160 a day. And so my caloric target if I want to do weight loss. So this is if I'm working out, if I'm doing my workouts and also want to lose weight on this diet. Sorry, this not a diet. Then I should be eating 1,410 calories a day. Hell fucking no, okay? And then if it says if I'm not working out, I need to be eating 1,360 calories a day. Absolutely not. Okay, again, guys, I work with a dietitian, so these numbers are specific for me. I also don't count calories personally because, as I've mentioned before, I have OCD. My brain tends to fixate really hard on numbers, and in the past, when I have counted calories for various things, it's led me into disordered eating behaviors, which have caused me to become underweight in the past, and it's not good for me. So, because my brain is not really capable of managing that in a healthy way, since I do work with a dietitian, I kind of give her my food, and she tells me how many calories I ate, or she tells me if I'm hitting the targets or if I need to eat more. But basically, she's told me, while I've been cutting, like I did bulking for the majority of 2021. Now that I've been cutting, while cutting, which means losing weight basically, I need to be eating like a minimum of 1,700 to 1,800 calories a day because I do work out. And if I weren't working out, I could go down to maybe 1,500. And again, these numbers are specific for me, so don't take them as anything for you or any advice for you whatsoever. Please don't. This was just an example for comparison. So the idea that 1,410 calories when working out, that is insanity. Absolutely not. That is way too low. So once you find your calorie bracket, you figure out which of these diet plans you're going to use. So mine is in plan A, which is the least amount of food. I guess because maybe I'm a smaller person according to this, which is weird because I'm like 50 pounds more than Autumn is, but whatever. So this diet allows me the following things. I can have 4 of these green containers, which are 1 cup in size each, of vegetables, 2 1-cup size purple containers of fruits, 4 3/4 cup size red containers of protein, 2 1/2 cup size yellow containers of carbs, and then she's got a few other things I'm allowed to eat. And then, because like, at first I was like, okay, so I'm allowed to have, for carbs, there's these little yellow containers, and I'm allowed to have 2 of those a day according to this plan. So if I had 2 of those a day, how am I going to measure bread? Like, let's say I want a sandwich. I'm going to just jam a piece of bread into this container. How am I going to do that? And then I looked over here and I saw that 1 slice of bread is equivalent to 1 yellow container. So you don't have to put the bread in the container. It lists what's equivalent to the size of 1 container. So 1 piece of bread is equivalent to 1 yellow container. So then I look back, okay, wait, how many containers do I get a day? I get 2 yellow containers a day. So let's say I want to make 1 sandwich. 1 sandwich has 2 pieces of bread with things in the middle sandwiched between them. So now I'm going to eat my sandwich. That's 2 yellow containers worth of carbs. I can't eat any carbs the rest of the day now that I've had a sandwich. What? Autumn, excuse me? That sounds absolutely insane. That is not true. Then the last thing is that she simps for Shakeology towards the end here again. You know, when I started working with Beachbody, I learned about their superfood shake, Shakeology. This took things to a whole new level for me, and I've seen it do the same for countless others. It's a superfood shake with crazy health benefits. It's been shown to help reduce cravings and reduce hunger between meals, and it has superfood adaptogens that can help your body be well. Be well. Wow, that is so specific. Then she talks about how, like, you shouldn't go get drinks at Starbucks. Now it sounds like that could be a little MLM dog whistle of like, no getting drinks at Starbucks because you should save that money to invest into your Beachbody starter kit, which I'm sure she also wants us to do. But her reason is that if you get like 1 little latte at Starbucks, that's going to be like 500 calories. That's way too much. So then she says, instead of that coffee house caramel drink, you can make an apple pie Shakeology. It's amazingly delicious, can be made right at home, and is basically the same price at just under $5 a serving and is only 180 calories. Plus, you would get all the wonderful benefits that come from drinking Shakeology. You can make hundreds of different Shakeology flavors, so it really can be used as a much healthier alternative to just about any coffee house beverage and more. Okay, Autumn, why are you advertising Beachbody's shake program to me in a book that is listed at $28 cover price? If this is my little coffee table book about how to lose weight, this hardcover book, which is pretty sturdy, and you're going to spend time in it advertising Shakeology, advertising Beachbody on Demand, advertising this borderline pyramid scheme company to me, Autumn, no, absolutely not. So that was Lose Weight Like Crazy by Autumn Calabrese, super celebrity trainer for Beachbody, one of the worst companies in existence. What did you guys think of Lose Weight Like Crazy? Has this book inspired you to get in shape? It's inspired me to eat ice cream, actually. I'm gonna go eat some mint chocolate chip ice cream out of the fridge in a minute because I really want some tonight. And I'm going into the gym tomorrow to get super ripped once again. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Guess what we're reviewing on Friday? Effing Simple Leadership. This is a Monat book. So we just got pyramid scheme books all over multi-level marketing, allegedly, whatever I have to say for disclaimers. This one's from Monat. So we've got this one to review on Friday. So get ready for more fun for that. I appreciate you guys being here with me. I will see you guys again then. In the meantime, keep on supporting small businesses. Have a great start to your week. Love y'all.
Get you some nuts.
There was lots of memes.
Makes me wonder if I should take up lesbianism.
Chicago. You guys asked for it.